Alright guys, welcome to the video today. So in this video I'm going to be talking about Nightstalker post-patch and kind of how I play on the class and my experience with the whole Nightstalker situation post-patch and my whole entire experience, I guess, on that front. So originally, right when the patch was issued, a lot of people, a lot of big streamers who played Shadestep a lot or Nightstalker a lot were saying that they really liked the patch and that they thought they would increase the skill gap. But as I go on Twitch and I check these people's streams, a lot of them, like I'm talking 4 to 5 like big streamers that I knew had like main Shadestep before, just don't really play the class much at all anymore. At least I don't see them playing the class. They're either on a Titan or a Warlock. They just really haven't been playing Shadestep as much. And I want to kind of give my thoughts in this video as to what is weaker, kind of how I play with it now, and just that whole sort of scenario. Now, previous to the patch, you could be pretty liberal with how you use your Shadesteps. The way the cooldown worked is you really didn't get punished much for spamming it. If you were anywhere near cover and you got weak, the vast majority of the player base isn't going to be able to hit people a consistent amount of times while someone is in Shadestep. So if you get weak, or if you know like 2 or 3 people are coming in trials and you're anywhere near cover, let's just say you're at like red or blue special on Pantheon, if you can Shadestep away, because obviously at that point in time you would have 2 available Shadesteps, it was really easy to just get away from the crowd using both of those Shadesteps. But now you really can't be too liberal with your Shadesteps. You have to kind of conserve them for specific moments where you really need to use them. I find that when I'm sliding around a corner, it kind of does the same exact thing as if I was to Shadestep around the corner. Obviously, Shadestep is going to work a lot better for I guess like the higher tiered player base, but a lot of the player base, it's not really going to be that easy for them to hit you while you're sliding either. It's going to work a lot better Shadestep wise if they're sniping. You're still going to be able to get sniped if you're sliding around corners, but making sure you slide around all your corners in substitution for Shadestepping around them, I found also helps. Just making sure you kind of use Shadestep in the moment where you only really need to use it, because I feel like at the very beginning of the patch, sometimes I would use it at the wrong moment and then I would just get screwed because I didn't have a backup one until 2 to 3 seconds later. A lot of times, since I have knee pads on my shotgun, I have a year 1 Matador. If someone, let's just say like the gold doors at Anomaly, like the initial spawns, if I know someone's creeping right outside that door, I know I can slide like straight through that door and shotgun them and then Shadestep into the room on the right. They're referred to as room 1 and room 2. Just making sure you use it not to get into the open, but getting out of open, I feel like it is something you could do to improve your Shadestep efficiency. It works really well just for shotgunning and then Shadestepping. I wouldn't recommend Shadestepping and then shotgunning. It can kind of feel awkward coming out of Shadestep and pulling your shotgun out. One thing I also do is I run max agility, and basically this affects not only movement speed but weapon pullout time, ADS speed, weapon swap, that whole entire thing. It just makes the class feel a lot smoother, and it's something that me and a teammate of mine who used to run Shadestep pretty much religiously has always recommended. And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is using your double jump as well, because if you use better control on the Nightstalker, a lot of people choose different options for some reason, but it's not the same as Shadestep, but you can still use it for getting around a lot of bullets that are being shot at you. Let's just say that bottom door, I'm sitting there and I'm in a gunfight with a Warlock or a Titan. I could, turn to the left and try to skate away or whatever, but when you have a Hunter, sometimes you can just jump straight up, and if it's a doorway or anything that's narrow, if you can get out of their sight lines in a decent amount of time, I would recommend you use the jump for that, because it's obviously not going to be working the same as a Shadestep, but getting out of cover quickly using that jump also works really well. If you're in a tight corner, like low ceiling sort of area, you can also use better control to rapidly jump off the ceiling, and it's going to give you a little bit of a spood beast as well. Another thing I wanted to talk about is a Shadestep lunging for a melee, which is something that's not really a big deal, but it's something that I've done several times and it actually works really well. So a lot of times if someone's around a corner, you'll see that like top tier players, like if they tag someone with a firebolt and they know they're around the corner, they'll just quickly slide around the corner and melee them. It's not going to be as easy because obviously you have a Hunter melee instead of a Warlock melee. You can't hit them from Nigeria with your hand. But a lot of times if I get someone weak and they're on the other side of some metal trash can or whatever it may be, if they're on one piece of cover, you're on the other side, a lot of the times I Shadestep around the box. So using it as like a quick burst of movement also to get right up next to someone if you know they're weak can work. It's a little tip, but it's something that I felt would be notable to add in this video. So basically, if you have someone weak or you know they're weak, using it to maneuver around cover left to right, upside down. Wait, I don't know what I'm saying now, but going left, right, in and out of cover for meleeing. It's also something that works really well. Another thing is the super usage. The super is often referred to as the worst super in the whole entire game, and it's probably for good reason. It's not the best super. It's also, I feel like, not that terrible. I use Black Hole on it. A lot of people like using Quiver. Quiver has, I guess, higher slaying capabilities because you can use your tether more than once. And people compared it kind of like to a golden gun at the very beginning of when tether was discovered, but it's a lot harder to aim. And something I use is Black Hole, and the time where I use it is if I see mainly 2 people. If you have 3 people that are watching you, you're probably going to get team shot and die before you can get the tether off. But if you can get a tether, direct hit the one person, it's going to tether off of him and chain on the other guy, and then that leaves him for an easy kill. And that's kind of the only situation I'm comfortable with using it in. Other than that, it's very, very easy to get team shot out of it. The last thing is for sniping. The main loadout, I feel like, for shade stepping and Nightstalker in general is running shade step and a shotgun. But if you ever played around with a sniper on shade step or Nightstalker, I don't know why, I just instinctively call it that. If you mess around on a sniper or with a sniper on Nightstalker, it's actually really good. If you can use Keen Scout and get used to it, knowing exactly when people are going to peek around corners, having that increased agility boost, it's just really fun to play with, and I feel like it actually works really well. I tried a 1v3 a while ago, and I actually threw on Graviton and I tried sniping with it, and it actually went really well, and I really enjoy the gameplay. It's a different pace of gameplay. A lot of people like using a snare as well. There's a lot of different things you can do with the Nightstalker subclass. The main, I guess, obvious one is shade step shotgun, but you know, feel free. You can experiment, try sniping, try not running shade step on the class. There's a lot of different capabilities of this class that not a lot of people like trying out. I hope you learned something from this video, and maybe try out the Nightstalker sniping loadout. Try out snare. I know there's a few sweaty players actually that have had a lot of success. I think Ruckalaka was his name, and he uses no shade step, but he uses Keen Scout and he snipes. So that's pretty cool. I'll probably link his Twitch if I can find it. I think he has a Twitch if you want to kind of watch him. I believe he still plays with that certain loadout. But I hope you guys enjoy the video, and as well as the gameplay, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I always mess up at talking.